for joy, together before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. Make a joyful noise to the Lord. All the earth break forth into joyous song and sing praises.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Monday. Brad here with the Big Family Homestead. I hope you're having a blessed day wherever, whenever you're watching this video. Ladies and gents, holy mackerel. How many of you guys have seen this bits and pieces of this documentary or seen the documentary called Grid Down, Power Up? Hands in the comments section. Since this is a live stream, by the way, I will be chatting with folks in the live section. So you'll have to click the text if you want to see the responses on the replay. Grid Down, Power Up. What is basically going on, and I'm going to show you some video on this well, here, you know what, I'm just going to click over here right now. Let's click to the page. All right, so this is the actual web page of Grid Down, Power Up, and Dennis Quaid, you know, the actor Dennis Quaid, has been talking about this. He's been out there. He was on Tucker Carlson, and I watched 50 minutes of it. I didn't catch the last little bit. But I got to tell you what, this is stuff that I have been looking into for years now. I've been seriously concerned about, not fearful, but concerned about what life looks like if there is no electricity. So this is something that I have actually been thinking about before the hype. But have you guys seen what's going on here with this website, with this video, with this documentary? Has anybody seen the thing he did with Tucker Carlson? Or he's been out there, and he's genuinely, I do believe genuinely, trying to use his influence to sound the alarm bells. They said, this website, the documentary, Dennis Quaid, has come out and said that with 100% certainty, the grid will, at some point, go down. Whether it's solar, you know, they call them a coronal mass ejection, solar flares, or whether it's from bad actors, people that don't like the Western way of life. There have been documented cases where the power grid actually did go down. And I think it was 1850s during not during the Civil War, close to it, but our whole entire system of Morse code, all the telegraph lines, all that, boom, gone, back to the Stone Age. But for then, it was not such a big deal because everybody knew how to do stuff. You had chickens, you had a way to grow things. It wasn't that big of a deal then, even though, boy, what a convenience. So statistically, he's right. I don't think he's out there trying to scare people. Can you just say that? Let's just say that. I don't get the impression that this is a guy who's using his influence to frighten people. I think he's trying to get awareness so that stuff gets changed. Because let's just go there for a second. Here, I'm gonna click to a different page just so we see something different, because this is a good page to be on. How many of you guys have ever considered what life would look like if the electric grid stopped? I mean, think about it. If you live in a city, toilets don't flush in a very, very short amount of time. Think about what that looks like when toilets don't flush after, say, about a week. And I'm not trying to be gross. I'm just trying to say, if they don't flush, then a lot of things happen that are not just the gross part. People get sick, disease. Think about what happens with vermin. Think about what happens when people don't have access to pumping gas out of a gas station, because guess what? If you can't have electricity, then you can't pump the gas. So if you have an electric car, you're really in trouble. But if you have, even if you have like a gas powered vehicle, well, if you don't have the fuel at your home, you're not going anywhere. And even if you did go anywhere, what are you going to do? It would only be a short amount of time till hospitals didn't have electric to run their doodads, all the stuff and things. Yeah, they have generators as a backup, but that only lasts a very short amount of time. Every purchase, every transaction, all monetary systems, that they're all, nobody's shoveling coal into a machine back behind the Kroger grocery store so that you can swipe a card and you get groceries. That's not how our system works. Everything we have is based on electricity. When you really boil it down to it, and then beyond electricity, because there are people that say, well, electricity is the solution for everything. Well, guess what? Most power plants are powered by what? Not nuclear, coal or fossil fuels, right? Now, let's talk for a sec. What would life look like if you couldn't pump water into your house to drink? Would you have a way to even purify that water so that you could rehydrate the food that you've been holding on to in emergency situations? Would you have a way to do that? Would you have a way to be sanitary? Would you have a way? Excuse me, sorry about that. See, I have fresh, clean water that was pumped out of my well by electricity. Hey, Lisa Park. Hey, say hi in the chat, guys. I'm gonna take just a moment to let this sink in, because this is an important thing. Please click the thumbs up, and don't forget to share these videos, because it really does help. Good morning/afternoon to Becky, Tanya, Tensi, Lisa, Sunny, Cat. Good morning to Mama. Good morning to, let's see, Morgan. I'm just skimming. Sunshine. Chris and Nikki. Hey, Wyoming homesteader. Shadow Scout Swede. Interesting. All right. And many more. Hey, hope you guys are all having a blessed day. So if the power grid went down, let's picture this. Remember, was it a couple years ago that some crazy people decided they were going to take pew-pews and mess with a power transformer station, and a lot of people in the Carolinas didn't have power for a long time. Remember that? It was weeks. And that was on a tiny, tiny scale. Just fathom for a second. Everything in your house goes, nothing works. The first thing to go is obviously YouTube and TikTok. It's not going to work. Hey, Amber. Glad you're here. Thank you for sticking around. Amber Faith Lee. That sounds like a very southern name. She's from Texas. Hi. Glad you're here. So the point is, this Grid Down, Power Up documentary that Dennis Quaid is out there making people aware of, which I say, yes, good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Well done. I'm glad that he's using his influence for something good instead of what a lot of people in Hollywood tend to do. Now, the issue is that there are solutions for this stuff. It's easy fixes. This is fixable. Most of our power grid, a lot of people don't realize that most of our power grid is rated at a security level of about 8 amps. And what I mean by that, let me explain. Like when there would be an electromagnetic issue or a fluctuation in power, without getting too crazy scientific, our grid, for the most part, is usually rated at about an 8 amp fluctuation where it can handle it. Most solar ejections if an electromagnetic radiation, which is natural, that comes from the sun, if it was like a surge, is over 80 amps of that kind of fluctuation, just to give you an idea. Meaning, everything that has a circuit, like computer chips, toast. Any basically modern vehicle, toast. Most of the power grid, toast. And I'm not saying every little doodad and everything, but I'm saying stereotypically it would be a massive issue, okay? You wouldn't be able to buy things. You wouldn't be able to sell things. You wouldn't be able to pump water. That's a big deal, don't you think? These things happen naturally from the sun, and they also happen when bad actors do bad things with big bad weapons. Okay? So, the estimates are grim. I don't want to be too doom and gloom because I do want to talk about solutions. I don't like bringing up a problem unless there's an actual reason to do it. Like, is there a way that we can open communications and get more people pushing power companies to spend the money to fix this? Or the government. Yeah, I realize it's taxpayer dollars, but what does it look like if the money isn't spent? Risk reward, right? I mean, what do you guys think? Would it be better? Let me just ask you this. Would it be better to pay, and I don't, trust me, I hate the idea of more taxes. I really do. Maybe we should say reallocation. Maybe I'm going to change what I was going to say. Wouldn't it be really awesome if the government decided to reallocate funds that were going to other places that aren't not even our country, that those funds, that they could reallocate them to harden our power grid? Wouldn't that be great? Don't you think? Because here's another thing. Here's another thing that you need to think about. I was made aware of this when I was watching the interview, and also what I have seen of the website and what I have seen of the documentary. And even our military, okay, even our military, they have largely a more hardened resistance to these electromagnetic fluctuations in their military doodads. Let's just say it that way. Okay. They are more protected. However, a majority of the power, I mean a large majority of the power that they use to power the military stuff, things, guess where it comes from? All right. Where's it come from, guys? Does anybody know? I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Civilian power plants that are not hardened. So, if there were a big problem, they would have a limited amount of time and resources until they ran out. You see what I'm saying? So, here's what I think, and you guys chime in. Okay? There are solutions that we already have, different power buffers, if you will, that can be put on all of these different transformers, all these power lines, all of this stuff. It exists, okay? It's expensive, but it's no more expensive than the funding and aid that our country, without voting on it, by the way, I didn't vote on it, that our country has been giving to one singular country that I can't name because the video will get blocked. It would cost less than that funding than to harden our power grid against something that we're being told and shown and scientifically proven that it's a 100% certainty that our power grid is vulnerable and will at some point go down. So, what do I think should happen? And by the way, this is when you start typing. If you're on your phone, you do like this. If you're on your computer, you do like this. What solutions do you think we should be doing? Because what I think we need to do is pressure our politicians to get in the faces of the power companies. I think we should also pressure our politicians to reallocate funds so that our power grid can be hardened. And while there may be problems in the future where things happen, stuff happens, solar, at least a majority of the country would be able to keep chugging along. And you know what happens then? Everybody gets back to normal a lot quicker. Are you guys with me? Is because I see a lot of names that I know in the chat. Sometimes, okay, here's a confession. You ready for the confession? Sometimes when you're doing a live stream, you feel like you're just talking to nobody. Because I see your names and I see your faces, but when I stop talking, it's quiet. Is anybody, you guys with me? Hey, thank you, Country Living. Says thumbs up, everyone. Appreciate that. John Zeckerly in the chat, who I know he repairs electronics. He is one of the best radio station and equipment repairmen in the whole Midwest. Truth. I've been there. I've seen him. I've been physically with him while he's fixing stuff and doing things. This guy knows what he's talking about. Modern electronics vacuum, he says. Lisa says, in my country, I can't tell you the fields that have gone from, solar, and wind. Well, even if they went solar and even if they went wind, if they're not hardened in terms of protection from these gigantic fluctuations in electromagnetism, it wouldn't matter if you've got a gazillion solar panels or a gazillion wind farms, because you know what happens? They all funnel back to the same circuits that would all fry in the case of an electromagnetic event. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't matter if you had 1,000 wind turbines or a gazillion solar panels. They all funnel right back to the same spot. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Shadow Scout Swede says, at Big Family Homestead. That's me. Hi, Shadow Scout. If you don't like high taxes, you should take a look at Sweden's taxes. Yeah, they are high. They are high, Shadow Scout Swede. Let me take a swig of coffee. I normally have coffee in my hand when it's the Bible devotion. Everyday outreach, by the way. Oops, got a little piece of ice. Better not choke on it. Shadow Scout Swede also says, I don't think our power grid are hardened here in Sweden. Well, yeah, that's kind of part of the deal. It's like, I think that electric power generation is a great idea? I do. Do I think it's not ready to replace traditional fossil fuels? It is not. It absolutely is not. Do I think that the government should be heavy-handed and forcing everybody to ditch traditional power? No. Time out. Holding. Flag on the play. No. How about we do this? We can encourage people to do what is the future, but our system is not ready to switch over. We are completely 100% reliant on fossil fuels, which some people may go, great. And some people may go, no, that's the problem. And then some morons will throw paint on priceless works of art to try to make a stupid point when it just makes other people mad. And I'm with the mad people. Point is, if you really want to switch things over, you got to encourage people to come up with new technologies. You got to, because guess what? I mean, think about it. 100 years ago, do you think that people even considered the idea in 1924, 25, that we could get electricity in our houses from the sun? There are technologies, guys. There are technologies that you can paint your roof with paintable solar receptors. Now, I'm not exactly excited about making my roof look white But you know what? Guess what? That would be really cool if you could, in the future, everything that you painted generated electricity. We're not there yet, but the technology is there and it's getting there. It's getting there. So why not encourage people to do the right thing instead of force them, cram it down their throats? That's my thought. You guys share your thoughts in the chat. So back to the point of the grid down, power up. Do I think you should see this documentary? Absolutely. 100% you should see this documentary, because this is something I've been preaching this for years, guys. Because try doing this. How many of you guys, okay, question, country living, if this is you, Wyoming homesteader, I know you know. I see your comments. I read you guys. Phoebe, Morgan, let's see if you guys, here's the question. You ready? Creative Beauties and Becky. Have you ever gone more than a day intentionally without power? You go to your breaker in your house as a test and you go, chunk, I am not turning the power on for a weekend or a week. What do you think? Has anybody done that? We've done it for a couple days involuntarily. Truth, I'm being truthful. But what's it look like? When we lived in Florida, obviously you get a lot of hurricanes down in Florida. Well, one of the things that we always did when we knew that a hurricane was coming nearby, we'd watch the Weather Channel just like everybody else, and we'd see, okay, is it coming our way? What are the chances? Okay, fill up the bathtub. Everybody fill up the bathtubs. It was instantly. Why? You know you're going to need water. You know you're going to need water. You know, even if it's not to drink and you got to boil it or whatever, you know you're going to have to flush the toilet, right? And you know you're going to not have water. No, you're going to not have. Boy, I got good grammar. Good grammar I got. You know you're not going to be able to have power flowing to your house, which means there's probably not water flowing to your house. And you knew that it was probably going to be that way if it was a bad hurricane for several days, maybe a week. Know what I'm saying? Everybody, have you ever had a water bob? You know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know what a water bob is? If you live down in the South, you know what I'm talking. And Kathleen's like, okay, I'm done with this. Okie dokie, let's prepare. I agree 100%. A water bob, I got to go back before I get to the biggest important thing. A water bob was basically like a giant balloon that you would stick in your bathtub. Think of it like the inside of a waterbed, but for your bathtub. That way the water would still be good and usable. And it was like you fill it up and then there it is, this gigantic balloon. And I think you can still buy them. I haven't been down there and needed a water bob in a very long time. But here's the point, guys. Let me show you something right here. I'm going to go back to this page. Let me go to here. Okay. There are solutions. This stuff actually exists. It can be done, and the money is actually there to do it. The issue is the bigger issue. Can you get people to make just a little bit of less profit, or the governments to have a little bit of less budget? I know this sounds crazy. I know I'm talking crazy. But if you could get them to just get a little bit less, this wouldn't be an issue. The system would be hardened. And by the way, if you don't think that our power grid needs to be redone from the ground up, boy, oh boy, sorry folks, but that's like head in the sand kind of stuff. That's like ostrich head in the sand. Our power grid is old and it was never designed to last this long. Just let that sink in. So, ladies and gents, I'm going to grab some comments, type. We're going to talk, and then I'm going to share with you some free stuff for you. So here we go. Again, Kathleen says, prepare. I agree. They're talking about power generation, phones. What do you guys think? A water bob. Catch it in the tubs, yeah. Power and water sewer is not modern in most towns or cities. I wonder if you're meaning, Lisa, if you mean that it's provided by the municipality. I wouldn't know the stats on that. I've lived in the country and I've lived in the city. Like out here, you have to have a well. And that's just how it is. Some places we've lived, it comes from the municipality, and some places it doesn't. But I'll tell you this: can you think about it? Okay, here's the question. You guys ready to type? What would be one short sentence that you would describe where you live? What would happen to your neighbors and society and the people around you if there was no water or electric for 5 days? What would happen in a city? 7 days, 8 days. And then you decide for yourself whether you think it would be a good idea to do your best to do some preparedness. Would you be able to get water? That's really the biggest thing. The next biggest thing I would honestly say is probably protection and food. Now, there is a device. There's called a what's the cage? It's a Faraday cage. It's not something you keep a squirrel in or a rabbit. A Faraday cage. You guys know what I'm talking about? It basically works so that these fluctuations in the power and the electromagnetic radiation go around a device, and they're grounded out in the ground. You can make Faraday cages as big as your garage. You can make Faraday cages as big as a trash can. We do have videos on how to do that. It's Faraday cage. It protects electronic devices. It allows those fluctuations to go right on around it, whatever it is. Now, here's the other part to that, though. Let's say that you're like, I have a Faraday cage. I keep a phone in there. I keep a walkie-talkie. I keep a radio in there. Well, what would happen if there were a big fluctuation and you were the smart one and you kept your phone in the Faraday cage, and you go to call somebody and they go, wait a minute, what would happen, guys? Nothing, because the towers would be down. Zero. You would have spent all your time and money and effort keeping your devices free from these fluctuations in power, but you would call nobody, because you wouldn't be able to call anybody because their circuits are down, because their circuits are melted. Do you follow what I'm saying? Lisa Park is saying, I've seen a video that you can turn a house into a Faraday cage. Oh, man. You better be very careful with that so that you know what you're doing electrically, so you don't make your house into a lightning rod. Okay, ladies and gents, that was honestly what I wanted to say with this video, but here's the big thing. You got to understand, it's very likely that the people that have the ability to fix this won't, because that would mean they would have to have less budget or less money or less this or less that, or give less to their shareholders. There is, I believe, one power generation company in South Carolina that has taken the steps. Wouldn't it be nice if they all did? Don't you think that'd be great? Maybe some phone calls. Call your local power companies and say, hey, you guys should really reprioritize this. That is what I wanted to say today, because there are solutions. There you have it. I hope you have a blessed day. Yeah. So here you go, guys. Have some sweet jams. If you want to download this music for free, it's free. I record it. It's Bible. It's scripture music that's 100% right out of the Bible. None of Brad's lyrics. and it's modern music, and you can get it for free at everydayoutreach.com. Go download some, and hopefully we'll see you at the Bible Devo 8:30 in the morning. Have a great day. Bye.
May God be gracious to us and bless us, and may His face to shine upon us. Let the peoples praise you, oh God, let all the peoples praise you. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. That your way may be known on earth, your saving power among all nations. Let the peoples praise you, oh God, let all the peoples praise you. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy, for you judge the peoples with equity and guide the nations upon earth. Let the peoples praise you, oh God. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear Him. God shall bless us, let all the ends of the earth fear